Hey, I've got a good one for you today. I'm going to keep sharing these conversations I'm having with practice owners because I think when they're really relevant, when there's something that you could possibly use. So I'm going to switch over here so I can draw this up. But I had a practice owner tell me they were lamenting their lack of profitability, and we got into cost per visit as curiosity, and I'll actually wrap up and show you that at the end. But they are profitable. Okay, from any objective standpoint, from someone looking at their books, they're profitable, but they don't have any cash. Okay, and let me show you why. And I'll say they don't have any cash, quote unquote. But check this out. I'm going to switch cameras so I can draw this up for you. But here you go. So what I found out in asking the questions, I'm going to go over here, was that they were paying wages. Okay, wages in the amount of 175K to the owner. Okay, 100K to the owner's spouse, and 65,000 to one of their children. Okay, so and these were being paid in wages. Now, hopefully, you're going, no, no, no. I'm going to bring my mic over so you can hear me, just in case. Um, Hopefully, you're saying, wait, that doesn't make sense. Right. If you're not, and you're thinking, are you doing the same thing? Here's why I kind of went, whoa, what's going on? Um, so the problem with wages, as when you're overpaying, okay, not saying problem with wages in general, problem with wages when you're overpaying is that you owe certain taxes. Now, let me insert a disclaimer. I am not an accountant. I am not an attorney. I am not a tax professional. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not telling you what to do. Okay, this is not advice. I'm sharing with you a scenario, and it's up to you to kind of figure out how it might apply or work for you and who you want to talk to next. But I would definitely recommend you take these ideas and you run them by your accountant, and your financial professionals and all that stuff to make sure that you're not falling into the same kind of situation. So anyway, the issue here is that Social Security and Medicare payroll taxes are 7.65%. Now that's from the employee. Okay. There's another 7.65% from the employer. Okay. So this first one comes out of the paycheck. So when you're paying $10,000, that comes out. When you're paying $10,000, that's on top of the $10,000, the employer, right? So I said employee, we'll put E, and employer. Okay. There's other expenses too, right? If you're paying work comp, you're paying work comp on wages. Okay, workers' compensation insurance, there might be other insurance and stuff that's tied to wages. In a lot of cases, and well, in some places, there are local payroll taxes, like in the city and county of San Francisco, for example, there's a local tax on total paid wages. That's another percentage point or two. All that adds up because it's being paid on this amount. Okay. And what we talked about was them going back and talking to, and by the way, let's total this up. That's 340,000, okay, in payroll just for the family. Starting to see why I'm saying they are profitable, because this can come out in different ways, but ultimately, let's look at what their replacement costs might be. So we talked about replacement costs. If you had to hire a small clinic therapist slash manager, you might be hiring them at 125,000. Okay, you might adjust that for your region. Depends on where you are. It might be 100. It might be 140. That's not the point. The point is where they're located, they could potentially and conceivably hire somebody at this rate for that job. The other thing was, for the spouse who's doing the admin position, could probably hire somebody at $50,000 for the same position, maybe 60, maybe 48, whatever, but we're going to use that as a round number, like for a legitimate potential replacement cost. Okay. And then for the front desk, let's say 40K. Okay, now I'm going to mess up my calculations. I'll have to do them again. But if I can replace somebody for 40, 45, okay, but anyway, we're going to do 40. So what's our total here? That's 215, right? So what I'm doing, if this scenario works out and the accountant signs off on it and everybody says yes, is reducing my pay out my distributions, or sorry, reducing my wages by what's that, 125? Okay. So I've reduced the wages paid out by 125,000. And you say, well, wait, where's that going to go? Well, this could be still paid to the owner and his spouse through distributions. Now, the reason we're also reducing the child, and maybe you don't want to do that, but she literally gave notice. She doesn't want to work there anymore. Okay. So we would have to literally legitimately replace her. So we're gonna take that difference as a savings, not that she's gone, and we're not gonna keep it either. But $125,000 now, that's in distributions, not in wages. So what's the point? Well, the point is that at least, right, 15.3% of that 125 is we save that money. You don't have to pay it, right? Because you're not paying it as wages, you're paying it as distributions. So 125,000 times 0.153 is $19,125. Now, number one, this is distributions come out of profit, so they're profitable in order to do this. They were overpaying wages here. The other thing is that means that this is a savings on taxes. Again, potentially, if the accountant says yes and what have you. Now, what does that turn into on a monthly basis? That means they're literally keeping $1,593 a month. Okay, more in money, right? And you could get more aggressive over here, by the way, too. Maybe the spouse doesn't work there anymore, so we add another 50,000. Okay, so now we're talking about 175, but I'm not going to complicate it further and do that. But look at this. That's money that you're not paying the government. Okay, let me also say I'm not opposed to anybody paying their taxes. I think we should, right? But paying more than you're supposed to, that, you know, again, this could be going into the retirement accounts. This could be going to pay for vacation. This could be going into savings or supporting their kids or whatever they want to use it for. All right. Now, how did we get here? How did we, like, what made me ask the question about the cost basis and the salaries? Well, we were talking, I'm just going to separate this out, and they shared with me that their cost per visit was $134. Okay. In the PT world, that's an exceptionally high cost per visit. Now, the owner was complaining about PT salaries going up, which is, I mean, that's a mantra, right? Everybody's saying that. The thing was, I asked him, how many PT and what are you paying your PTs? What's the total compensation package? What are the visits that a PT is actually seeing on a regular basis? And, you convert it over. I'm a big proponent of looking at it per month, okay, and per trimester. But he had his average, the visits per day was what they did. So we converted that over and figured out what they're paying the therapist, how many visits per year that would be, and all that. And it ends up that the cost per visit per therapist was $53 per visit. So the problem there is 134 minus 53 is 81, right? And I'm going, well, your cost basis for your therapist is $53, but your total cost is 134. Why? Where's the 81 going? And again, we're talking about a relatively small clinic. This over here accounted for a chunk of it. Okay, so if we took 125 or $175,000 out of their total quote unquote expense and recalculated this cost per visit number, it ain't 134. That, I mean, part of that's anyway, that they're adding back in numbers there that probably shouldn't be there. So just consider this and look at how you're doing it. This is the reason you want, somebody else looking at it sometimes, or you want to get educated and know what's going on. you know, I'm looking at this going, dude, we just saved you possibly 20, maybe $25,000 or more a year in a, 40-minute phone call. So anyway, on that note, if you want to look at some numbers, you want to have some questions, you're frustrated with where you are, hit me up. Let's set up a time to talk, and I'm happy to do that. I'll put the link down below for the conversation where you can set that up and schedule it a time that works for you. Anyway, hope that's useful. And again, I'm going to keep sharing some of these owner conversations as they come up because I keep finding stuff.